welcome to my Flosstube channel, Thread the Needle. My name is Vani and we're here for Flosstube number 76. Now, let's see where we're going to begin. The month of January is over and I'm here for my recap of everything that happened in the last 2 weeks. And I'm also going to do a quick recap of the whole month of January. So I have my notebook because without it, it's really hard for me to remember everything. I'm going to start with my update on my main rotation, which is my anniversary piece that I'm doing for my husband and I. And it is a picture of the two of us. And when I started at the beginning of January, now I'm trying to remember if I showed you. Yeah, I think I did. I showed you how far I was gone. So I've made some really nice progress. And in the last 2 weeks, I put in 1,952 stitches. Now this is with me working on it just a couple of hundred stitches every day. It's really coming along. I'm so happy with the progress that I've made. And I don't know if it's this new rotation method. It seems to have been working for the month of January, so I'm going to go on with it. It is 1/1 on 28 count, which is so very tiny and very time consuming. There is a lot of confetti, but then there's block stitching, but not really. You see all this area right here. It's a lot of checkerboard stitching, for lack of a better word. So as you can see, like for example, right here, that checkerboard type. So that's one color, and then there will be the other color. So it's really hard to make sure you're stitching the right colors. And I try my best, but so for the month of January on this project, I was able to put in a total of 4,361 stitches. So I'm very happy with my progress and I hope to keep going. Now, I'm going to get nowhere near a project finish by the time our anniversary rolls around, but you know what? It's okay. I just want to get it finished this year. So we're going to move on. Next up is my mini meditation. It is my retreat piece. So this is the piece that I have set aside for any retreat that I attend, and I divided it up into sections dedicated to each retreat. And the most recent one was last year when I went to Stitch in London. So I have my next retreat coming up, Stitch North here in Canada, and I'm really looking forward to it. It's just a really nice weekend to get away and talk to all my stitchy friends and yeah, do nothing but stitch and stitch. It's so fun. And so I am trying to finish up the section that I started for the London before I'm getting ready to pick a section for this next. That's right side up, yeah. So here we are, almost done. Just have a little bit this area to go. This flower in the middle is almost done. This is actually the very middle of the project. So stats on this was, I did, in the last 2 weeks, I did 851 stitches. I try to stitch on it every day. It is one of my daily 50s. And total this month, I did 1,758 stitches. So I'm hoping that I'll be able to finish it this month for sure, so that I can pick up some other stuff and not have to do this one anymore. But it's fun. It is 2/1 on 22 count. I really love all the colors in this, and I haven't decided which section, but I think it's going to be one of the sections up there in the upper right hand corner of the project for my next retreat. Then next up is another one of my mini focus pieces. It's Ganesh, and as we all know, I am halfway through completing it. And so I decided to make it a focus piece this year, right behind my anniversary piece. So as soon as the anniversary piece is done, this one becomes my main focus. But for the time being, it is my secondary focus piece. And so I still try to stitch on it every day, just about 50 stitches or so. And I managed to do, in the last 2 weeks, 778 stitches. I'm almost done the diagonal, right? So we're working on this, and I think it is a 20 wide diagonal. So I've been working here, and so this is how much I've got done so far. This is 2/1 on 22 count. And for the month of January, I did 1,544. Now, I know a lot of you might not really enjoy the numbers. You may not understand the point. For me, when I keep track of these numbers, it is really about motivation for me. Not so much that I'm giving myself like a, for lack of a better word, deadline. It's not that. It's not like, oh, I have to do this many stitches. No, that's just a goal, yes, but it's not like set in stone. It's not like if you don't do it, something's wrong with you. No, but I am such a detail-oriented person that these numbers mean a lot to me. Seeing how much I've stitched, whether it's just 100 stitches or 200, anywhere to 500 on a project, it just really motivates me to make me see that I am making progress. Because a lot of the times I find it very difficult to see progress because these are all such humongous projects that I can't see any progress from the last time that I worked on it. So when I work on the numbers and I keep track of the numbers, it really helps motivate me and keep working on these projects. And this year I have, in the month of January, I'm going to do that at the end when I do my January recap, but I'm so happy with how many projects I've been able to work on. So let's continue. Next up is my daily 50 rotation. So those that I showed earlier were all my main pieces that I'm going to work on every day. Next up is my daily 50 rotation. So that means for every month I'll be picking 2 projects. For the first half of the month, it's one project that I do 50 stitches a day on, and then the second half of the month, it's the second one. So for this last 2 weeks, I worked on Coloring Book Afternoon by Heaven Art Designs, and this is 2/1 on 20 count, easy count. The colors in this are just so much fun. The entire project is going to be so colorful. This one I managed in the last 2 weeks to do 593 stitches. If you get closer, it gets a little bit pixelated. But then the further away you get, the picture really comes together. I think this is the hinges on the wooden color box. Or maybe that's I gotta look at the larger picture, but this is all the coloring pencils. Oh, it's so much fun to work on. So much details come out when you're working on this. I really enjoy this one. So that was a really nice daily 50 rotation. Then comes my main rotation pieces, and the plan for that is each time I spin the wheel, I try to get 500 stitches completed on it. First up was Autumn Owl Trio, and I made a bit of progress on it. I managed to put in 517 stitches. Here we are. So I try to remember where I was last time, but I do know that I was able to finish this diagonal, this last diagonal that I'm working on here, and put in a few extra stitches. There was some Krynic in there that needed to be filled in, but he's just so much fun to work on, and I really am looking forward to moving on to the next owl. I really want to get further on this, but I feel like I hadn't really picked it up in a long time, so it's really nice to get some significant work put in there. Oh, and this is 22 count 2/1 full cross. Next up is another piece that I really didn't touch a lot last year, and I'm really glad that it came around in my daily rotation. This is Star Touched Meadow by Caroline Manning, and it is on 18 count, and I'm doing it on 2/1, and I did 554 stitches on it. It's a really nice geometric pattern. This one is for the month of November, and I might be wrong, but I think it's supposed to represent chrysanthemum. Maybe. I don't know. But it's just really fun to work on. And it's hard to tell, but up until this area, because there's white and stuff, it's all filled in. And then I've moved on. It's a lot of fun to work on. And the fabric is from Kaylee, the sewing shop, and I love all my fabric from her. I think a lot of my pieces, my fabric pieces, are from her. Yeah, but she did, this is a set of for all 12 months, and this is the first one that I'm working on. And I got all my fabrics specially dyed by Kaylee, and she always does such a wonderful job with it. I love it. Okay, next up in my daily rotation was Peacock Fantasy. This is one, and let me just take off some of this right here. So this is a piece that it's on 28 count 1/1. Not my favorite to work on, but I do it because if a project is very, very big, I don't want a humongous piece that I'm going to have to put on my wall. So I try to make it smaller by working on a higher count fabric. And this is 28 count. It's so very tiny. But yeah, I don't even remember what fabric this is. It's a 28 count even weave. That's all I know. And I got halfway through the diagonal. I'm actually very happy with the progress. So here is Peacock Fantasy. So nice. And I put in 530 stitches on this. I can't wait to get past the body of the peacock and move on into the tail, because that's the fun stuff there. But this is so nice, isn't it? I love it. I really do. All right. Next up we have, and I'm happy to say that I remembered that for my Christmas piece, the only Christmas piece that I'm working on at the moment is a mini Christmas mailbox by Heaven Earth Designs, and I started it a couple of years ago, I think. Me and Leanne did it as a Christmas in July start, and she's working on a stocking, and I decided to pick this piece. I started it as an extreme cross-country stitch, and then I quickly realized I'm not an extreme cross-country anything. And I went back to my regular diagonal method of stitching. So let me just take off the ties so that I can open up the fabric a little bit more. So I continued on by stitching on my diagonals. Not much to tell. As you can see, I completed this current diagonal, and now you can finally see, can you pick it out, that dark section at the bottom? So you can finally see some of the trees poking out. So I'm hoping, and I think the trees, and then I think house comes here. So finally we're going to get to work on something instead of endless peachy, pinky, white sky color. It's beautiful, but oh so tedious. But I don't know if you can tell, there is Krynic in there. Aha, there it is. There's the sparkles. I don't know if you can tell. Can you tell? Right down there, that's the Krynic. I don't mind working with Krynic as long as it's not a lot. I do enjoy the effect that it brings to a project, so I'm really looking forward to working on that more. So the Christmas piece I work on every 24th and 25th of the month, and try to put in some stitches, and it's great. I put in 538 stitches on that Christmas piece, and it's 18 count. It's really so much fun to work on, and I really hope to see more progress on it. So yeah, that is my recap of the last 2 weeks for the month of January, and now we're into February, so I'm going to get to work on some whole new pieces. I will continue to work on my main focus piece, my secondary focus piece, and then my daily projects that I want to. But for the month of January, here are the stats. Of the 31 days, I stitched for 28 days. So I did give myself a little bit of freedom, and that if there was a day that I just wasn't into it, I wasn't in the mood to stitch, or I had a headache or something, no pressure. I didn't stitch. So I think that's fairly good. For 30 out of 31 days, I stitched for 28 days. Some days only got maybe 75 stitches or so. Some days I got a lot of stitches. But I'm happy to say I like the progress I made last month, and I'm hoping to continue the same method that I've got going on, because it seems to be working. So along with all my focus and my daily pieces, I have my daily rotation. So my main rotation pieces, and I got to pick one coming up, and then I have to pick one of my daily 50 pieces to work on for the next 2 weeks. Always a pleasure. What else can I say about the month of January? In total, now this is almost unprecedented. Last year, I do not even remember working on this many pieces, probably for the whole year. But for the month of January, I worked on 12 different projects. I don't know how it happened. I'm so happy. So of course, we have anniversary, we have Ganesha, We have mini meditation, and those are my three main ones. And anniversary Ganesha, mini meditation. Then we move on to all the rotation pieces. So we have Star Touch Meadow, the November one. We have QS Life is an Open Book London. We have Peacock Fantasy, Autumn Owl Trio, QS Sapphire, Colors of India, Coloring Book Afternoon, Prelude to a Kiss, and the Christmas piece. I don't think there has ever been a month in the past couple of years that I've worked on this many pieces in 1 month. So I am so happy that it's working out this way. I managed to put in 13,000 stitches for the month of January, which is kind of cool. It really pushes me. I don't know if that's a lot of stitches. I don't know if that's not very many stitches. It's good enough for me. And that's it, folks. I am really enthused. I am really into it, and I hope you all are too. I can't wait to come back here in another 2 weeks for my next update. In the meantime, happy Valentine's Day to everyone who's going to celebrate. I hope everyone has a wonderful beginning of February, and I will see you in 2 weeks. Bye!